Hello you struggling salamanders, and welcome to me playing Tales of the Black Death, a cruel, horrible, sad, oppressive, angry, player choice visual novel. So, you know, it's perfect, right? Perfect to get you all in a nice happy mood. So we're going to play the original unforgiving version of the game. Suffer, struggle and survive. Maybe. Yeah, let's do it. Let's struggle. 1347 Tuscany. As dawn approaches, a solitary boat drifts on the Mediterranean Sea. Its white sails flapping in the wind capture the attention of the local fishermen. Using grappling hooks, the men haul the vessel to the shore and make a most horrible discovery. The ship's deck is covered with corpses, and the dead show signs of a curious illness. Their ears, mouth, and fingers all black as soot. Large bulb-shaped growth around their necks, armpits, and inner legs. Their bodies are frightfully contorted as they had died in the midst of pure agony. From the belly of the ship a voice cries out, "Help us." Hesitant, one of the fishermen walks down below the deck. Cough, cough. Below deck, he finds the rest of the crew coughing, bedridden, and in pain. Tales of the Black Death, Italia. Everything was pitch black. As the sunlight spills through your window, you wake up from a night of tossing and turning that left you uneasy. A dream lingers in your mind. A tall cloaked figure carrying a young girl in his arms. Black crosses painted on trees. A city engulfed in a hellish fire. Dreams like these always feel like a strange premonition. Right, we've got a brain, we've got a heart, and a little face. And a satchel. Anything in there? Nothing. Maybe that's why the sound was all over the place. The dark fields. Oh no. Oh no, it's contagious. Far in the mainland lies your aunt's farm. Since the death of your uncle, the home has endured many harsh winters that have darkened the fields. For the last month, you've been living with Aunt Camilla, spending your days harvesting the wheat. As you open your tired eyes, the smell of dry, salted fish and freshly baked bread slaps a smile on your face. The day before had been your 14th birthday, and your aunt had offered you a leather satchel that would, from now on, follow you wherever you go. After stretching a stiff neck, you crawl out of bed and hiccup, and then walk to the living room. These last few days, you've been waking up more tired than usual. Aunt Camilla greets you with a feeble smile as you glance at the loaf of bread still in the oven. I hope you slept well, Baldasar. You have a long day ahead of you. I've been baking all morning, and your aunt edges closer and examines your pale complexion. This is not the face of a boy in the prime of his teenage years. You look tired. I hope you're not coming down with anything. You shy away and take a seat at the table. Despite all her kindness, for some strange reason, Aunt Camilla always made you feel uncomfortable. Yeah, we'll just say we're doing fine. We don't want to worry her. Aunt Camilla walks back to you, places a bucket at your feet, and awkwardly wraps her cold hands around your face. Your temperature seems normal. Perhaps you just need fresh air, or a hot meal, to bring some pink to your cheeks. Why don't you get us water from the well? You nod politely and head for the backyard with the bucket in hand. Aunt Camilla has always been a tad strange, yet she's quite knowledgeable when it comes to a stomach illness or an itchy rash. In the yard, you glance at the handcart gathering moss from years of neglect and wonder how it feels to live isolated from the rest of the world. You wonder if your aunt will die a lonely widow. Okay, that took a turn. Inches away from the water well, you notice a dead black crow. Aw. Poke it with a stick. Suppose you don't want to cup it. My instinct would be, if I just saw it, be like, "Aw, poor thing." Put some gloves on that I just happen to be carrying. You know, just move it to the side, bury it maybe. I like crows. "Why do you want to poke this poor bird?" says the wise raven. "I'll tell you why. Because I am the tutorial raven, and you have no say in the matter. Let's proceed with the poking." Aw. You approach with a strange mingling of reverence and curiosity, pick up a stick and gently poke the dead bird. Black liquid oozes out of its beak. How hard did we poke it? Upon inspection, you realise you cut yourself on a rusty nail sticking out of the stick. The cut doesn't appear too deep. Still, you wince as you wipe the blood off with your thumb. Ah, see what you have done. You managed to hurt yourself unexpectedly. Could it have been avoided? Maybe, maybe not. Just remember, unexpected events occur unexpectedly. That's the nature of it all, really. Returning to the task at hand, you grab the bucket, fill it with water and walk back inside the house. The fresh water is tempting. No, I don't want to take a sip. Again, choiceless choice. This is the strange power of the tutorial raven. Now let's continue. You take a long gulp from the bucket, quenching your thirst. As you finish drinking your fill, your eyes fall upon the dead crow again. A hint of nausea turns your stomach, and for a brief moment you feel sickish. Ah, you drank the foul water, and now you are sick. May it serve you as a lesson. Now your hand is hurt, you are feeling queasy. That not a good start. Or is it? In disgust, you kick the dead crow away. Oh, come on! Again, you dunk the bucket in the well, then enter the house. As you come in, Aunt Camilla blows on the fire of the wood stove. The glowing embers illuminate her face. You drop the bucket next to her. She smiles as she pours half of the bucket in a pot and adds 2 handfuls of wheat grains. Yeah, let's show the wounds. Yeah, look at this. I'm so brave. Oh, look at you. How deep did you manage to cut yourself this time? Can you still make a fist? You make a fist and drips of blood fall to the ground. Oh my, it looks pretty deep. Lend me your hand. Aunt Camilla chops it off. She actually grabs a clove of garlic and crushes it between 2 molars and then chews it down to a pulp. Using her thumb, she spreads open her hand, your hand, examines the cut and spits right in the middle of your palm. Satisfied, she wraps your hand with a clean cloth. Ah, look at that. You've already learned how to hurt yourself, but also how to get healed from an injury. My little trick managed to enlighten you. That will do for now. You grimace as her garlic-infused saliva stings your wound and thank her while taking a seat at the table. You glance at the wooden barn out the window and wonder if your aunt has enough supplies to last through the harsh winter ahead. You notice her thinning the porridge with water. She catches your stare from the corner of her eye. Life was quite different when your uncle was still alive. You remember fruitful harvest summers where the barn could burst from harvested wheat and barley. It sometimes feels like all our best days are behind us. Offer to stay a few more days. Announce your departure. So if I stay, I'm going to eat the rations, right? But in my mind, I would stay and I would like go forage for stuff or hunt potentially to get more food. But I know that's not what the game would let me do. So if I announce my departure, it lessens the burden on Aunt Camilla. So I'm going to have to go with that, right? Even though I would stay, help her out around the house, and go do other stuff like chop a tree down just because I hate trees. I know it must be hard to leave me in times like these, but I will try to manage. I already have my share of fortunate moments. Witnessing a grim expression on her face always brings sadness to your heart, as if the hardship of others could weaken your own chance of happiness. Your aunt places a bowl of porridge in front of you, then walks away to stand by the window, whose gloomy curtains were withdrawn. Your uncle chose this very spot to build the house. From this window I could see him work in the fields. Her voice carries the crushing tone of nostalgia. As she turns towards you, she offers you an honest smile. Go on, Baldasar, eat up. You have a long journey ahead. You examine the diluted porridge in front of you. Next to it, your aunt left a warm slice of bread. Salted herrings are hung to dry near the stove. Yeah, eat only the bread. We'll let her have the rest. You munch on the fresh bread. It fills your belly still. You feel it might have been wise to have something hot to eat. Your gut still feels queasy. You remember the black crow. After your breakfast, Aunt Camilla walks to the door and picks up a large golden bushel of wheat. As promised, here is the wheat for your parents. On your way home, make sure to pass at the windmill. From wheat to flour, from flour to bread, as they say. You nod as you wipe your lips with the back of your hand. You jump to your feet, put on your boots, and strap the bushel on your back. Aunt Camilla hands you 2 small dry fish wrapped in a cloth. It was kind of you to come and help me with the crops, Baldasar. These 2 little fishies should bring some joy to your travels. You put the dried meal in your satchel for later. Outside, the morning air is fresh, and rustling leaves echo in the breeze. A large Italian oak tree towers over the house and shades part of the yard. Your feet scatter the morning dew as you walk away from the house. Reaching the footpath, you turn and see your aunt waving back at you. Have a safe journey, Baldasar. You nod and start your journey back home. Soon, your aunt's house disappears behind the trees. You should have slain that tree. It was actually a treant. Alone and well on your way, a strange feeling comes over you. You revisit in memory the dream you had the night before. The tall cloaked figure, young girl, the black crosses painted on trees, the city engulfed in a hellish fire. And you think of that dead black crow. Suddenly, you feel sick and puke on the side of the road. A few moments later, you feel much better and promise yourself to be more careful what you ingest. Oh, there you go. See, glad I didn't have the porridge. Would have been more sick on the road. A broken fence. Under the bright blue sky, you follow the footpath through the farmlands and through the forests. On your right, the familiar wooden fences keep the livestock from roaming too far from stables, coops, or sties. Squeak! Suddenly, screams of distress that send a chill down your spine. Squeak! As you get closer, the screams become more desperate. For a brief moment, you wonder if you should turn back and find another way home, but decide to carry on. At the edge of the forest, you discover a pig in distress. His neck is caught between 2 wooden planks of a broken fence. Using all his strength, the animal tried multiple times to free himself, but only managed to hurt and bruise himself. One of the wooden planks could be lifted, but that would mean getting closer to the unpredictable swine. I would free the pig, even if it's gonna eat me, I'd still free it. As you get close to the fence and start lifting the loose beam, the fearful pig violently hits you with its hind legs and you tumble to the ground. Why did you approach the pig from behind? You would go from the side. Like a sensible person would, you would go from the side. Caught off guard, you dust off your trousers and wonder what to do next. Try again. Distancing yourself from the pig's desperate blows, you pull on the wood plank with all your might. Your work pays off and the pig's head is free. Embracing his sudden freedom, the pig quickly runs off towards the farm. You examine yourself and discover a fresh cut on the side of your hand. Gonna need some more garlic. Hiking across the rolling meadows, you think back to the last conversation you had with Aunt Camilla when a raven distracts your melancholy. Standing on a thin branch, he seems to croak right at you. You ignore him, but after a few miles you realise the bird is following your every step. As many, you consider the raven to be an omen of bad tidings. A cold chill runs down your back as his glossy black eyes peer into yours. Annoyed by his incessant nagging, you grab a stone and aim straight at the bird. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Unbelievable. Where's the player choice, huh? I wouldn't do it. No, drop the stone. Unclasping your hands, you let the stone fall to the ground. The sudden thud appeared to have frightened the raven. When you lift your gaze, the bird is nowhere to be found. Why would I attack a raven? What's the point of that? You follow the narrow trail that leads into a pine forest. Many times you glance up the trees in search of the black feathered pest, but you only find bare branches. As you reach a clearing, you see above the tree line the sails of a large windmill slowly turning in the wind. On top of the hill, the long grass blades are bent almost permanently by the powerful recurring winds, and the turning sails appear never-ending. At the base of the mill, a lone figure is stacking sacks of flour. Alberico. Alberico? Sure, Alberico, the one-handed miller, notices you in the distance. Baldasar! How nice to see you again. As the miller waves his lone hand, you show him the bushel of wheat you come bearing. Alberico greets you with a knowing smile, examines the wheat and takes it into the mill. Let me get to work. Shouldn't take too long. Let's gaze at the landscape. Let's get a view of the land, shall we? Waiting for the miller, You gaze over the horizon and see the small fisherman's town where you grew up. A feeling of joy fills your heart as you realise you will soon be reunited. Jesus Christ! Reunited with your parents. A strong wind blows through your clothes and gives you a chill, and you decide to join Alberico in the Windmill. Alberico, maybe, I don't know. Albert, you enter the mill and take a seat on a small bench behind the miller. From the ceiling, the strong drive shaft forces large gears to turn, and you observe as Alberico pours grains to the millstones. Albi has been operating the windmill for many years, and he is known around Tuscany for his fair prices and dough-based treats. You notice a jar of barley cookies on a small table. You could probably take one without being noticed. Oh, again? Don't want to. Stealing a cookie? Is this the sort of great moral dilemmas that are awaiting you all along this journey? Perhaps, perhaps not. Some choices help move the story forward. Some choices grow your character. And some choices might change how some characters feel about you. Just remember, the wise tutorial raven sees everything. Ask for a cookie. You politely ask for one of the barley cookies. Baldasar, if I would be giving out all of my goods for free, I would go out of business, don't you think? Besides, I prepared those for a lovely woman. And you, my friend, you are not a lovely woman. Alberico gives you a wink as he operates the machinery with a stumpy forearm. You observe as the one-handed miller unfolds a cloth sack to catch the resulting flour. Soon all the wheat has been crushed and the bag is filled. As payment, Alberico takes 1 cup of flour and hands over the rest of the bag. You nod and prepare to exit the windmill when your gaze lands upon a familiar treasure. On the wall above the door, Alberico keeps as a token of his good fortune a golden florin coin. It's the only florin coin you've ever seen, and each time you pass it, you are left in awe by its golden glow. As Alberico dusts off the flour that fell to the ground, you exit the windmill. Knowing your parents eagerly await your return, you bid Alberico farewell and start the walk down the hill. Halfway down the hill, your stomach starts to growl. Rawr. You remember the dried fish your aunts gave you and decide to eat it. The salty herrings taste great and you feel revitalized. Now you've enjoyed my illustrious company, but sadly it's already time for me to leave. Others, less fortunate than yourself, need me. Remember what you have learned. There is no right, there is no wrong. There is only your survival and the choices you are willing to take. Beware of your choices. Indulging in iniquities will diminish your morality and could lead to the loss of your soul. You are now on your own. After a long hike, you spot in the distance the familiar olive orchard where you used to play hide and seek as a toddler. Flap. A grim homecoming. Not too far from the large orchard and off the footpath lies your house. From one generation to the other, olives have been at the centre of your family's livelihood. The old home, built by your great-grandfather, even bores a wooden carving of an olive tree. I said an olish, apparently. What's an olive tree? As you approach, sense something strange and unfamiliar. The shutters on most windows are closed shut. Passing by the chicken coops, you notice the chickens haven't been fed. You carefully push open the front door of the house. As the sunlight creeps in, a voice echoes in the darkness. Don't come in, my son. We are not well. The weakened voice of your father sends cold fingers creeping up your spine. Some terrible illness has fallen upon your mother and me. Cough, cough. You approach your parents slowly, but suddenly jump back in horror as you notice black patches covering their necks and hands. In the darkness, your mother's bloodshot eyes reflect the pale sunlight. Your father's sunken face, unrecognizable from the man he once was, turns to you. I fear we might be at the end of our long and harrowing journey. You hesitate in the doorway. So, I would want to, like, stay with them to, like, reassure them. Yeah. But I also want to go to town, obviously, to try and get help, but I think that would actually do the opposite. I'm thinking if I went to town, people would be like, oh no, we must purge them before it all spreads. So I'm actually going to stay with my parents. The end house is stuffy and dense. You quickly open a window to let the breeze in. As you edge closer to your bedridden parents, your mother warns you of a strange fever before succumbing to a new coughing fit. Cough, cough. Look, we got a little sickly bug. Your father raises his tired voice. Son, a boat is beached near the pier. You mustn't go there. Please promise me, my son. After muttering those words, your father loses consciousness. Let's do it. We're already sick. Let's make some onion broth. Staying with your sick parents might not be the wisest decision you ever made, but you see no other alternatives. You ignite a fire and start boiling water. The warmth of the oven appeases your soul, yet you sense something is awry. Once the onion broth is ready, you try to feed your sick parents, but most of it comes right out. You decide to leave the bowls by their bedside. You examine your parents and realise the inevitable. Their frail existence is coming to an end. Taking your seat, you notice your joints are sore. After a few hours, you start to cough. Alarmed, you take off your shirt and discover dark patches on your skin. You remember getting injured earlier that day and wonder if the open sore could have led to this infection. The next day, you watch powerlessly as your parents die, knowing you will suffer the same fate. You battle with the sickness as long as you can, but you are no match for the mysterious illness. You have died from the Black Death. But I am a caring son. Backtrack and make wise. Yeah, let's just quick backtrack. So we haven't got the illness yet, right? Don't come in. So when I stayed, I got the illness straight away, didn't I? Do you know what? I'm gonna stay, but not make the onion broth. I know we're gonna get the little bug pop up, but this time I'm gonna go to the town. See what happens. The Misforgotten Village. I'll probably just infected the whole village, but don't worry about it, it's fine. I'm a caring son after all. At the edge of the Mediterranean Sea lies a small gathering of quaint houses connected by winding footpaths, all leading to a century-old stone church. At the eastern part of the village, you see the fish market near the docks. So we don't want to go to the docks though, because apparently that boat is a naughty boat according to our dad. You tread down the cobblestone path and stop at the town square. In this tightly knit community, you know only one person can truly help your parents. Priest, doctor, skip town, no, don't want to go to the pier. Although I kind of want to go to the pier because it's evil. Yeah, let's do it. Evil pier. The cursed wharf. Because we're already ill. In the grey sky, seagulls circle the docks hoping to find discarded fish. The food market, usually buzzing, I wouldn't say buzzing with peddlers, is deserted except for a few fishermen negotiating raw oyster and pickled herring prices. A slender boy grabs your attention as he passes behind one of the merchants and swiftly walks away with something tucked under his shirt. Without missing a beat, he disappears behind a food stand, only to emerge a few moments after right behind you. So, what are you? The market watchman? Yeah, I saw you peeking my way. I have a sixth sense about these things. After diving his hand deep under his shirt, the boy takes out a smoked herring. That's the reward for being nimble and clever. Yeah, you thief! You quickly grab the boy by his shoulder and call over one of the merchants. The boy struggles free, leaving you to hold his empty shirt while he runs off with the stolen fish. As swiftly as before, he disappears into the crowd. The merchant reaches you, only to learn the thief has outsmarted you and left. You start walking towards home, and as you pass between two houses, the boy appears out of nowhere and blocks your path. Hey, watch boy, I'd like my shirt back if you don't mind. There's a sharp blade in his hand. Yes, take the knife away, why not? It's definitely going to get stabbed, but we're already hurt and sick, so we're going to get him covered in a disease. Got him. It's payback. With a quick attack, you try to catch the boy's hand. Swift on his feet, the boy swerves out of the way and lands behind you. You freeze as you feel the cold blade on your throat. You're no match for me, watch boy. I might as well slaughter you, like the sheep you are. Feel the blade cutting from one side to the other of your throat. You fall to the ground, your head hitting the pavement. Last thing you see is the boy looking through your pockets. As you awake, you bring your hand to your neck and realise the cut isn't really deep. The boy just wanted to scare you. You wipe the dried off blood You wipe the dried blood off your neck and promise yourself to be more careful with strangers. Still tense, you head back home. A grave return. With a strange feeling of doom, you follow the familiar path leading up the hill and to your house. The shade of the large oak trees, the ominous silence, the closed shutters all make your home look more secluded than ever. Prudently, you open the door and call out to your parents. Your calls are left unanswered and you fear the worst. As you creep into the house, you find both your parents dead in their beds. Their gaping mouths and bloodshot eyes staring into oblivion are a horrible reminder that life is precarious. Telling yourself that at least they are no longer in agony doesn't give you any solace. Suddenly you realise you are sweating profusely and feel lethargic. You go lie down in your bed and soon you cough up blood. During the night you become delirious with pain. You never see the morning. You have died from the Black Death. Yeah, this game's pretty interesting. I'll be honest, it does seem as well like a lot of the choices are linked more than you would expect. So I would assume if I didn't help that pig, I could have at least gone into the house and then gone to town, been fine. But I think because I had that open wound, that's actually what's got me infected with the plague. Then again, obviously I'm not going to make them onion broth and go, oh look, let's all share the stuff. But yeah, that's interesting. I'm going to play more of this. Definitely going to play more of this. I like this kind of stuff. I do wish there was a bit of voice acting. Even if it was just the character voices, they left like the narration and stuff to yourself to read. But the character voices were there. That would definitely elevate this game a lot more. But what they've done, I like the art style. It's very grim, so it matches the mood. Obviously, you couldn't have bright colours. That'd be a bit of an odd contrast. Yeah, I like it. Potentially, if one thing I would change, I know you've got like the black and white, so it's all kind of dull. But I would have liked it if, when you're succumbing to the Black Death, it all changed. So see where you've got this, for example, I'm hovering over it. This is all white, just with black text. If this was like covered a bit more in like blood or something, just to really add that these choices, you are close to death or you are infected, that would be a lot better than just this almost like cute little bacteria thing showing up there. So that would be something I'd add. It's just a little bit more to the game because it's a visual novel at the end of the day, so there's not much going on. So you need to make whatever there is on the screen stand out more and be more terrifying. That's what I would say. So again, all fine at the moment. Like my character, he's dead. It's the exact same picture. There's not even like any like blood dripping down from him. There's not like bruising, or he hasn't gone pale. There's no black patches on his skin. There's none of that. It's just a simple picture still. That I would add as well. Just a little extra, just to really hammer home that you're in trouble, you're dead, you're hurting, you're in pain, you're in agony. Something like multiple pictures, like if he's just witnessed his parents dying, show a bit of distress on his face instead of just a blank image, like which could be for any mood, or he's just thinking to himself, wow, what a boring day. That's basically all it is on his face, instead of, well, hold on a minute, my parents are dying this gruesome death. But yeah, little things like that. It's just whatever you have on that UI, you need to make stand out more, because that's what you're going to be staring at a lot of the time. If it's the exact same, people will just gloss over it. It won't matter. And also, apparently, this brain, my psyche, my morality, whatever you want to call it, is at its peak when I just like witnessed both my parents die. So yeah, that's also something. Like gameplay mechanics wise, you should have a more mental approach to it. So if you have witnessed these grim events, it should affect you more and not just, ow, I hurt my hand. So yeah, there should be a bit more to it than that. But overall, I like it. I like this game. I like that kind of stuff. It reminds me in a lot of ways of Pathologic and Pathologic 2, which are very oppressive as well, which I love those games. They're great. So which says a lot about me. Anyways, thanks for watching everybody, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.